we're excited. We've got a fun little show. As you know, we've been throwing around NFT Tuesdays occasionally where there's a project that's building some buzz in our Discord, or some people put it on our radar, and then occasionally the project's gracious enough to come on and just chat about it. And we're going to do that today. I know some of you right now are in line for Top Shot for maybe the third time today, trying to get, I believe, where we got a metallic gold drop happening right now. And breaking news, this is going to be the third L of the day for me over here. But if you are here for some Top Shot related stuff after we're done, I don't know if Dustin and Greg got a pack, but we might open a pack towards the end.
Yeah, I'm at 7K. I think that, or 6,900. So I think, no, wait, a number of packs 6,500. So I just missed.
So look at L's, just collecting L's on a Tuesday. That's how we roll over here, but enough L's, only W's from here on out. So we're really excited to talk about this next project, Fiat Lux, who I think Dustin, I don't know. I feel like Dustin, you were the first one, or Ego.
I got in on this. It spoke to me instantly. I saw the art. It's some next level stuff that I don't think anyone's quite doing yet. And it's bubbled up a little bit in our Discord. Shout out Ego and a few other folks who've got in on it, and Raptor News Dan. But it's something that definitely struck a chord with me, and I got super excited about and said, hey, let's chat about it. Right.
Yeah.
Let's get involved.
Let's do it. I'm excited to bring on a couple of people from the projects. Let's welcome Umar, Jan, and Christian. What's going on, gang? How we doing?
What's up, everybody? Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging. As we said before we went live, we're always excited to talk to actual human beings on here when they're talking about an upcoming project. So it's just nice to see faces. So thanks for having faces today.
And thank you for dealing with the totally out of context, crazy videos you've seen and Top Shot talk that'll seep in and out of this stream. But we're excited. We're really excited to talk to you, and really excited about the project.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I love the intro. I mean, I totally got all of it. It was amazing.
Right. I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool.
There's a lot more of that nonsense, but we'll spare you. Down the line, if you want to come back to just hang, we can get into all of that stuff. But yeah, it gets all over the place.
So why don't we turn it over to you a little bit? Tell us a little bit about your project. I know we see the drop is happening a week from today, right? A week from today's drop day.
Yep.
So has anyone slept in a while? Are you guys still like resting and stuff, or no?
No, I don't know.
What is rest?
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I've DM'd with you a few times, Umar, and it's like nonstop. It's like 8 hours later. Sorry, I'm now I can respond to this. That's just the grind that's going on right now.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. I mean, thanks. I mean, we're excited to be on. Honestly, we've been heads down. So it's the first time in a while somebody said thank you for having a face. I like that. I appreciate it. Usually I get the opposite reaction, like get the face out of my face. Yeah, but we're pumped because we love to talk about. We don't get a lot of chances to talk about the project because we're too busy working on it. But yeah, it's Fiat Lux for those who are. I'm sure you guys are going to share like the Twitter and the Discord, but I think people should go out and check out those communities that we're building around the project. It's going to be released in a week, December 28th. And this is our website. Just like a quick background on myself, and then I'll let the rest of the team talk too. But we're a group of people, we have experience across the board at tech companies, at entertainment companies. And we wanted to take the opportunity that NFTs provide to create a new franchise that, the way we talk about it, it's like it's a new an epic science fiction franchise that's native to the metaverse. And so what does that mean? Like, it means we get to use NFTs to help tell a story and invent new ways of connecting with communities and sharing and storytelling. That's like the kind of core premise behind it. And there's a whole backstory. We can get into it. But that's the high level in the project. And then so that's me, Umar. I go by Max Prime in our server. Just a quick background on myself. I've been an entrepreneur for a while, technologist. I've been working in the field of software and kind of innovation for a while. And but before that, I was an artist, and I wanted to be a comic book artist. That was like my dream. And so I see all of that background with, I've been working in the world of augmented reality for the last 5-6 years, started my own company there. And so anyways, all of those interests and passions that I had, I saw them coming together. And so that's where it was. And then I got to find the awesome folks like Christian and Jan who are like amazing. And so to get to work with awesome people on a project that's like creative but blends technology, blends the future, it's like a dream project for me.
It's I like checking the website and looking over everything. The idea of phygital too, which was just like a fun word to be able to say. I feel like Buddy the Elf. But I love like the combination of trying to, because every project everyone's like utility in real life experiences or whatever, but these feel there's like more intentional opportunities, which I think is pretty cool. Where you're like, we're not just being like, okay, go to this game or you're gonna go do this thing or whatever. You're like, if you guys come together, not only is it benefiting you all, but it's like creating this like communal experience, which I thought that was like really neat.
Yeah, we're trying to touch on that. Like even in the community, in our Discord, we're trying to build that type of experience. Even though it's virtual and it's like not, it's missing some modalities of interaction. But even in that space, we're trying to build something special and have community building and community-based experiences. So
I love that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so that's a bit on me. I don't know, Jan, if you want to go next and give a little background on yourself.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's intro the full team, and we also want to add our artists to the stream as well.
Nice. AJ.
Hello. Can you guys hear me okay?
You sound good.
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, sorry, I'm still like moving stuff, so I went back to our new house to help.
No
No
worries.
worries. Jan,
But,
go
I'm
ahead.
back.
So yeah, my background is really I come from the video game industry. I've been making games for the past sort of 20 years, and really spent a lot of time trying to build prototypes for things that combine sort of physical experiences with gameplay experiences. So some of the projects I worked on were Guitar Hero, where we sort of were building some of the hardware there for a while. I worked on the Skylanders franchise for a few years and was a lead engineer there. So we got to like build toys and sort of do early collectible stuff there, which was cool. And then most recently, in the past 4 or 5 years, I got really interested in AR and just fell into the rabbit hole of autonomous vehicle technology and was curious what we could do if we gave toys some of that tech. So I was part of a small team that built Mario Kart Live, which is a project we did with Nintendo, where you basically have like remote control cars and then overlay AR content so you can play Mario Kart in your living room. So that was sort of my background.
Yeah, that's really neat. And Christian, yeah, now your turn.
Yeah, I guess it's me. Hi everybody. I'm Christian. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, where I am right now. Weather's awesome. Yes.
Nice.
My background is in engineering, but specifically I'm in the far future research and AR and VR space. I went to MIT, to the MIT Media Lab, where I did a lot of research in that space for learning and for embodied experiences. After that, ended up in a couple of far future research groups, looking at the future of industrial manufacturing, like e-commerce and entertainment, by applying emerging technologies like machine learning, AR, VR, you name it, all the buzzwords. Yeah, most recently ended up saying, I kind of want to build a future of the metaverse, and ended up contacting Umar and John and AJ, and that's how we're here.
I love that. I think because you said MIT, I'm legally required to put on a little MIT beanie here. The best part about this, I did not go to MIT. I worked at MIT, but I also didn't even work in any of like the intellectual sect of MIT. I was doing like student development. So this is like truly a clout beanie.
That still matters, Mike. It's very important.
Yeah, you're part of the community, man.
Nobody asks those questions. Nobody's like, oh, like what did you do? I worked there. All right, I worked there.
They see it and you get a head nod, right? They're like, okay.
That's right. No, but awesome. No, this is really cool. One of the things I like asking people as they come on is like something that was like unexpected because like I think there's a lot happening in the space right now, and we get excited, we come up with these ideas. But I'm always curious these two things. Like, what was something that was like wildly unexpected that you were like, oh my gosh, this is incredible? Whether it's on like the design side, the building side, the community side, anything like that. And then like on the flip side of that too, was there anything that popped up and you were like, this is a hurdle. This was not planned. Like, I don't, this was something very unexpected that came up that we had to like figure out whether a way around or just, I don't know, something along those lines.
I can start with something that was really exciting, and it was during the genesis of the idea of a phygital, right? I was talking with Umar. I was sort of like prototyping. I moved to the mountains in Puerto Rico, so I'm literally a hermit working on this project. And and I built a prototype of a phygital, which was like a music video of like a Bad Bunny, who's a Puerto Rican artist, laid out on a card, and you sort of like used AR, and it brought the music video to, and then suddenly Bad Bunny was sharing it on his story, and like we ended up talking to Doja Cat team, for instance. This is like, we said, oh wow, this is kind of crazy. Like this whole phygital idea is pretty special, and that's sort of like, that was the genesis moment.
There's something to this, right?
Right.
We might have something.
So that was one of the, wow, it's exciting to see people really like connecting with the idea of this whole like, sort of like philosophical digital circle of like digital item, a physical object, and then using AR to bring the digital into the real world.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm sharing screen just to show off some of this, because I think everything that you guys are speaking about is equally exciting as the actual art and what we see here. Just the combination of the two feels massive and so cool. Do we want to talk? Do we want to bring our artist, Robot Pencil, into the mix? And yeah, like, let's talk.
Because I think that right there, that's cinematic. That's AJ. That's all AJ.
Wow.
Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, go back up. I think it was the cinematic. This is one of our artists, Danny, that did that. But go all the way to the top, I think.
You got it.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to see the
There you
thumbnail Greg created.
Yeah. So this
logo.
yeah. So this is the cinematic that I built for the project.
Wow.
And yeah, just to kind of make people see that this is a little bit more of an ambitious project. We don't want it to just be limited to, oh, I gotta go pick up my kids, apparently.
I hear you.
Yeah, and so, but a little bit of my background. I've been working in industry since like 2008. I work as a concept artist for companies like Sony Santa Monica, Blizzard, and I did like art direction for like Riot Games as most recently, and now I'm currently working at Deck 9 Games as the art director. And yeah, these guys reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, you make cool stuff," and I was like, "Yeah, I try." And then they're like, "Can you try for us?" And I said, "Yes." And then it started off as just kind of like, he'll help us out make some art, to, oh no, we should just have AJ kind of run the show a bit in terms of art. And ever since, I was like, yeah, let's go. So I really put a lot of effort into trying to make the generative part of this look as good as humanly possible as you can. Yeah, now you can scroll down. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I just want to show off the rest. Yeah.
So when it's assorted, it should, in most cases, like be really, really good. And in some cases, still pretty good. Like, I think one thing that we were talking about was that it should be hard to find the bad ones. I mean, this inevitable when you have like 80, but it should be like impossible. We should be like actually hunting for them,
Yeah.
I love that.
And that was a challenge. that was a challenge to make that happen. We did many iterations. I understand why other projects struggle. I don't want to kind of make it seem like we're the greatest in all times. It's just that I really had to like flex as much of my art skills as much as like Christian's tech skills to really make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And me and him worked very closely together, like throughout the whole project, And he would be like, "Hey, is this supposed to happen?" And I was like, "I don't think so."
Yeah, I mean, part of the challenge is not nobody, but like a real-time pipeline for 3D art that like looks as good as it does printed on a card as
Right.
it does when you're in the metaverse or using it as an avatar. That's a real challenge,
Yeah.
right? Because one thing is a render and the other is like making sure that it looks awesome when it's real
Yeah.
time too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
so
that's what I wanted to ask too. Like, what was the turnaround time on this for you? Because like you said, right, you're making, so many without trying to, you wanted to like search hard to find quote unquote, not like, I don't think you said bad one. I forget, you phrased it a lot more nicely than I did. But like when like
Sure.
what was the turnaround time for that? Like, I imagine that must have just been a grueling pace.
Yeah, so in terms of actually creating the content, it's not nearly as time consuming, right? Like if you were to ask me to just make one little character, right, and make it look as cool as I could, then probably a day, and I could probably do a pretty good job. But the challenge is like making 80 of them. And the thing that I said that was nice to your point was it's hard to find the bad ones, right?
Yeah.
And like our first iterations, I think it was easier to find them. And it was a lot because we were challenging the constraints, the limits, which is part of the process. And we were prepared for it. And then it just became more and more about like, why is that happening? What's the reasoning? And then there was some stuff that we have because we have some, awesome like algorithms that like really help us determine like visual aesthetics. And at some point we were also just like, well, let's do a gut check too. Like, does it actually just look cool? Like when we look at it, So there was a lot of that. And
I can confirm it does look cool.
Yeah,
and to what AJ is saying, when he says the bad ones, that's probably like the more common looking sparks, not necessarily that even the bad ones look awesome. In my opinion.
Well, the fact that you guys even brought that into the process, the creative process, just shows a lot. Like you don't want there to be a quote unquote bad one, no matter what, that everyone is going to be hopefully excited about what they get, which is, I love hearing that. It's not just,
dude,
well, right.
Yeah.
One
we
thing,
built custom algorithms that looked at the whole set, and also we ran those algorithms on other projects we created a metric of visual distance, so it's sort of like optimized to make sure that it's not only that they look the best, but we're going to select the 80 sparks that look the most different to each other. It's sort of we call it maximizing visual distance, but that's kind of like a techie term, but they feel and look different, right? That was the ultimate goal too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And to be clear, like we even did one where I think it was me and Umar and our other guy, Aaron, and we were just like, okay, which are the most pleb looking ones that we generated? And we found them, and we're like asking why that was the case. And yes, they were still pretty good, like art, right? But like you said, Dustin, like it's a matter of, okay, this is going to be common though, and so what does that mean for the majority of people who mint this? And so we're like, well, let's crank that up then. We got to make the common look good, and then that in turn makes the rares look like god tier,
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of that, and a lot of what we were realizing too is just like I said, I totally understand why other projects approach the 2D route only or the 3D render only, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's incredibly challenging to make it like turn around and look good from every angle, and honestly it's just like make it look good in any context as well, like for instance,
any environment.
Right. And so when I originally was showing them concepts, they were always super happy about it, and then we would try to go into, because we were originally planning like 3D render, like the just kind of like more like physical based rendering.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I would approach that, they were like, I don't know, and then I'll do 2D concepts again. They're like, oh yeah, that. And I'm like, why don't we just make it look like the 2D concepts? And they're like, what? That's possible? And I was like, yeah, totally. And it was one of those things that I'm really happy we made that choice, because we're experimenting it in some other metaverse like environments, and it just looks good. It just looks like what you saw. The image on like the adverts when you fly into the card, that's from our that's the asset. The cinematic that you guys saw, like the one that I had the trailer for our, release date, that's the asset. I just customized it to make like a hero character. I'm putting that in quotes, just to be like, yeah, this is not fake news. Like that's like the legit, like if I wanted to make that a 1-for-1, you could have it, like it's available. It's not like I made a cinematic version that only looks good in the cinematics. It's like that's literally what it will look like for anybody else.
This attention to detail is what, for me, separates this project from many others. Not only the team coming on, the experience, but the just the forward thinking that's taking place from the phygital to look good in any space to just there's true care going into all of this, like absolute fine-tooth care.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of why I had asked too about like the time consumption that must have been to put in this work, because I like it. It just looks incredible, and like we've seen other projects be like, we need to get this out now. Like NFTs are hot, baby. We got to get these things out. So in my mind, I was like, you guys have been working on this for like 6 years because this looks like incredible.
It's that level, right?
How long do you think we've been working on this? I'm curious.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Because you asked that, now my number is shrinking. You're gonna be like, we actually put this together on Saturday.
Pretty close. Close.
Oh, I was okay.
No, I'm just kidding. It's not that close.
2 months, 3 months.
That's actually on the spot.
Dang,
Yeah.
that was a real good.
But
But 2 months, meaning what? 18-hour days, because I can't imagine these are not like 9 to 5. See, right? This is
I
a
think
lot.
I think 2 days ago I told the team, look, I'm running a fever, but I think it's because I'm burnt out because I haven't slept.
Like literally burnt out.
Yeah, that checks out.
Also, the thing is, like, it's 2 months, but then you look at the talent, right? It's like you got to have all this experience to be able to pull off something in an amount of time, because like time is just it's just a consequence of experience and how much you can do. And anyways, so but the bulk of that time has been on making these characters look amazing. You know what I mean? Like that's like, imagine all that time being spent being like fine tuning. What's crazy is like, how do you make something in 3D, like everything that AJ just mentioned, but then like it's all randomly assembled, right? Like not randomly, because we have rarity, like some things are rare and other things aren't, but at the end of the day, it's just like a generative algorithm. And so how does each character, even though it could randomly be created, look cohesive and in the same universe? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, and how do you have traits that are like god looking traits with like more urban looking traits and like more techie looking traits, and how do they assemble and still look good together? Like there's so many levels of that you have to think through and design for.
Yeah, and to get in 2 months.
Yeah. Well, I think like you said though, there is definitely a team, a really strong team put together. So everyone is experienced, they know what they're doing. This wasn't thrown together.
We joke about this all the time too. And we every time a new project comes out and it's like, here's the team behind the project, and it's like a study hall in like high school, right? It's like 8 kids taking a photo being like, we did it. And so like, and please don't take that as offense as being older. But to us, it's like, we adults are in the room. You know what I mean? Like adults are in the room making some adult decisions.
With your guys' experience, I know, Jan, all the projects that you've worked on, like it's just, there are people with knowledge of the space and major experience to me that are just separating this from many other projects that we see.
Totally. And I think, it's super exciting in the NFT space because even coming from video games, which I would say is like a fairly intense pace and you spend like years building something. But I've never seen a pace that is kept like the NFT space. Like it's utterly mind boggling. And really, you'd see games that would spend years building a character creator where a 3D character can be adjusted. And initially, when we're having these conversations of like, okay, how are we going to do this in the time that we have? And so it's this combination of like everyone, I think, being in the top of the game, but also making really smart choices. So like nothing is wasted, but it's just really focused. And then, of course, no sleeping. So.
Yeah.
Yes. Sounds right.
One thing too, and because I want to be conscious of time and not keep you guys for a few days because you seem pretty busy. Were you all very active in Discord prior to this experience, or is Discord now like a new thing that has swallowed up your life? Because this has been a new thing for me this year that I am now a Discord participant.
I've been in the NFT space for a little bit before, like for a while before, but I wasn't like a Discord power user for sure. Like I was in a couple of communities, but not to the point where now I'm really in it. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like
Yeah, a lot of notifications. A lot of notifications.
Oh man. Yeah, it's a different level when you're participating versus when you're like actually running. And I had like a small server with my friends, and we were just like, but you don't have to worry about security and like all the million things that we've got to deal with, and just make sure that we're like,
Hey, like how many times are you gonna have? I don't know if you've done it yet. I'm sure it's coming after you go live. You're like, we promise we're not gonna DM you. I feel like I get that announcement from every server I've ever been in. It's like, we'll never DM you. It's like banks where they're like, we'll never call and ask for your social security.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same thing.
It's totally the same thing. And that's, you mentioned like you were like, what are the things that were awesome? I mean, for me, it was like, I saw the art and it was just like mind blowing. I'm just gonna share the screen because
please.
You guys can all look at it while I talk. But I saw the art and I was like, God, this is amazing. We're building something so special right now.
Yeah.
And then the part that was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is real, which is like all of the shadiness in the and the security issues in the world of NFTs and how people are trying to scam regular new entrants, and so that piece has been a really we have to make sure we catch up, we learn, we think ahead, we're kind of planning ahead, so we're protecting as many of our community members as possible, and we're like being proactive, and so that's been the other piece of this, which is just making sure we're staying ahead of the curve.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time too, and this is kind of why we do like some thorough background research and homework before we bring groups on. And it's usually too why we request for people to show their face a little bit too, because we've had multiple groups reach out to us. One famously who we ended up turning down because something just like didn't feel right, and then they went ahead and they were like live for a day and just rugged and disappeared. And it's like that stuff's everywhere, and so like if you're gonna rug it, I'm at least gonna see what your face looks like, like I'm at least gonna know what you look like. So yeah, it's a weird responsibility that is not something like baked in when you're coming up with whatever you're doing, right? Like when you're coming up with this idea, you're not like, oh, I can't wait for the art and then to create a secure server that allows everyone, like that's not on the list of things to do. So yeah, I get that for sure.
I don't know how you choose how you're disappointed in anything you see here. If you get one, every single one is fire, like you guys said. Like I look at this and I'm happy with anyone I get. These look so sick, and everyone in the chat is saying the same thing. They look amazing.
Well, these are like God mode.
Well,
I mean, but they're all amazing. Like, let's put it another way. Like, we were assessing, and we were like, if all of them look like they're God mode, then what's the special ones? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's that calibration. None of them will look like any much different than this, but they'll have a little bit more of a stratification. But yeah, this is like that. Once you start to see this come out of your algorithm, like we were all just like, we knew it was good until we start to see it. And we're like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Like the running joke, right? Where it seems rare, right? Like that's what
Seems
everybody
rare.
says. Yeah, like they all.
The moment for me was when we actually saw the physical card printed, and that's where I was like, oh wow, like
shit got real.
All right, so we have successfully taken 30 minutes of each of your day.
I have a question for him too on that, Mike, if you don't mind. So I want to make sure that you guys get in any last bit of information next for the project for the people out there watching, right? Like what's something they need to be aware of? Project's launching in a week. What do they need to know? Any final bits just to get ready, right?
Well, I'm going to say, so there's this one thing we didn't really talk about, but I think it's important because we've been talking about the art, which is worth all of the attention that it's getting. But at the same time, we haven't talked about like the physical piece, I guess. that I think if whoever's watching, you should probably get a sense of what that looks like. So I'm just going to share so people see. Like this is these are the cards, right? So everyone who's in. Am I sharing this?
No, we don't have anything on screen.
I got you.
I was like, these are the cards. I was like,
Oh shoot! Oops, there we go. Let me do it again.
Yeah.
These are the cards. But yeah, we're each character, each owner is going to get a physical card that's unique to their NFT. So they have the option. We're going to have a time period where people can log on to our website, and if you're an NFT owner, you can actually order the card, and then you'll get it. And the card is a smart card. It's got the character printed on it. It's got it's got a chip in it that's an NFC enabled chip. So basically, it can trigger an app on your phone. That app allows you to view the character in AR. So you guys, all of your audience can go to our Twitter feed, and you can see some examples there. But this is going to be an important part of the project. So people actually get these collectible cards that they can use to unlock the character on there and see it in AR. And then it's our future way of engaging with the physical world, right? It's actually an access card that we could and use it to give people access to events or to different capabilities in the actual app that we're creating. So it adds that extra level of utility.
And by the way, to clarify, Umar says app, but this is appless to the point where you don't need to download the app. These are instant apps. So you tap your card and you're immediately jumping into the experience, no download required. I mean, I think that's a small clarification, but it's important because a lot of people don't like downloading apps.
There's always that barrier and you guys have eliminated that. Do you want to mention how people will be getting this? So it's physical. I think everyone's going to say, that's amazing. I want it on this project. How am I going to get my physical card? How that's going to work?
Yeah, so we haven't released a lot of details yet. We have the details, we just haven't released to the community. But in essence, if you're a holder, you'll be able to order them on our website. And so we're going to have time period where we're open our site and say yo, are you a holder? If you're the current holder of this NFT, give us your address if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want the card, give us your address and we'll ship it to you. And so it's a way for us to continue to re-engage. If somebody sells their NFT, the new owner can come in at the next window where we open it up, and then they can put their info, and then they can get the card.
So just for clarification,
and the prior card gets deactivated. So
yeah,
it's the last card printed is the active.
That's great. I was going to make the joke that you then share the address with the new owner and they have to go get it.
They have to meet each other in the real world.
Yeah. I actually love that idea, Mike. That's
oh man, that's fantastic. But yeah, guys, seriously, thank you so much for taking the time and coming on and hanging with us. We really appreciate it. And we've shared we'll put it in the show notes as well, but we've shared the link to join both their Discord and also to check out the website. You've got a full week to get just super psyched about it and get excited. Good luck. I hope by December 29th, everybody can take a nap. I know.
The day after, yeah.
The day after, everybody can get a nap and relax a little bit.
We're going to have a bunch of excited holders that are going to be when card?
Yeah. You'll get 2 hours. You'll get a nap maybe, and then it's back into it, right? Yeah. When card? It might have to be the new Twitter handle name. You might have to rename it just that for a couple of hours.
When address. Wow, this is great though. So again, everybody go check it out, and we won't take up any more of your time. We appreciate you guys coming on. We're gonna hang a little bit longer to chat about the Top Shot drop, but we'll get you guys out of here. So
all right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah,
great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, best of luck with the launch. Happy holidays. Maybe we'll check in a month or two. We'll have you come back on. And
let's do it.
Awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'd love that.
Definitely.
All right, guys, take care.
All right, see ya.
That was great. Great stuff. That was so fun. It got me pumped.
That was awesome. I am so in on the phygital, the art. It just immediately spoke to me. There's a comic book nerd deep inside me that loves Saga. There's another artist like Ashley Wood that it has a little bit of that, his robot war stuff. There's all of that. that is right in my wheelhouse. So as soon as I saw it, I said, holy shit, this art is amazing. And then I found out about the sort of phygital stuff and the AR that they're doing. And I know they synced up with Smiles to do some things. There's just a lot going on there that I feel like is going to be big.
I totally forgot that they synced up with Smiles. That makes sense too.
Yeah.
Like they're the type of work that they're doing.
They do a lot of, I mean, they do a lot of amazing AR stuff, which is what you're seeing. And I know people are talking about some whitelist for Team Hold members. I talked to Umar, and I think there might be a chance for us to do a giveaway for some whitelist. Cool. So we can maybe do that in our Discord channel and get some folks on the whitelist.
Yeah, maybe go join their Discord as well. So maybe we can make that a requirement. So join the Discord, and we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. That was pretty exciting.
Saga's amazing. I've been trying to get Greg to read that for like 10 years. Saga's amazing.
I also just love I don't know. Maybe it's the community builder in me, but it's just really exciting to get people on here and understand their backstory a little bit, and just like have some form of a connection to understand where, like, what's going behind the project, not just like the words that, not just reading a roadmap. I like getting a feel,
Right. Yeah. They were great. They knew their stuff. They were on top of everything. They're also, I don't feel like there's a overpromise here. I feel like they're still holding some things back intentionally to not go there, but you can see the promise of what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.